Hey everyone, welcome to Post to Post. My name is Neil. Happy free agency day. What a day it was. We had lots of signings so far. As I'm filming this, there's a couple of big names out there, so I thought about waiting till later on in the night, possibly even tomorrow, to discuss this because I had a pretty important ranking video lined up for today. But I'm going to get this out of the way, I think, now. As things trickle in, if those big names do get caught up, maybe I'll make a singular video on those, maybe tomorrow or the next day or something like that. But I wanted to go through the list. I've got it off to the left here on my screen. And there's just so many that I'm not going to go through them individually. Okay, I'm just going to kind of pick and choose and toss my opinions out there. Again, I said this in the last video talking about some stuff. Obviously I'm not the most educated person when it comes to this stuff. I'm just going to give you my opinion. You take it for what it's worth, right? I'm just a random guy on YouTube. So the first one that I want to talk about is Evander Kane, and that was late last night or early this morning, depending on when you heard the news. And he signed back in Edmonton for 4 years at $5.1 million per year. I think he took a discount. Even though Evander Kane has had some questionable times in the NHL and as a person in society, I still think with all the drama, with all the I don't even know how to describe him, honestly. I still think he could have got more elsewhere. I think he took a discount to stay at Edmonton. And why wouldn't he, right? I mean, he had success there. McDavid's there. The team made a great step forward this year. And I think that he sees a lot of promise there. So I have no issue with this signing whatsoever. I think it's actually great for Edmonton. I do not like Evander Kane at all, specifically as a person and on the ice, because I don't like his temper. I think he can be a liability, but there's no question that his offensive ability is outstanding. He's a great goal scorer. He's fast, and he can contribute definitely in the offensive end. So great news for Edmonton. I think that contract is definitely good for what you get. Next, the next one I want to talk about is Victor Olofsson for the Buffalo Sabres. 2 years, $4.75 per year. Inconsistency, right? I think the definition of inconsistency is Olofsson. He had a pretty decent rookie year, if I'm not mistaken, and then things kind of went downhill a little bit. So 4.75 seems maybe a little bit steep, but it's not like egregiously bad. If I was going to be in charge, and I mean, again, I'm just a guy on YouTube, like, what do I know, right? I'd probably toss a 3 at him, but still 4.75, whatever. It's only for 2 years. It is, it is what it is. Jack Campbell, the Edmonton Oilers, he gets $5 million for 5 years, exactly what he wanted, and what was not going to be given to him by the Maple Leafs and Dubas. So he got the exact contract that he wants, and he's going to a city that has a generational player, McDavid. And like I said before, with the Kane stuff, the team took a great step forward this year. He sees a lot of promise there. He stays in Canada, and it's a good contract. It's for him. I don't know if it's a good contract for the Edmonton Oilers. I can see the value there from a financial perspective, but from a term perspective, 5 years seems a little bit long. I would have liked to see 3x5 instead of 5x5. 3 years and $5 million rather, not $3 million for 5 years. The next one, Samsonov, has gone to the Toronto Maple Leafs. 1 year, $1.8 million. So when Murray got signed there recently, things were like not signed. Traded. A little bit questionable because 4.5 for Murray. He's been not great in the past 3-4 years or whatever. So they knew they needed a backup. I wasn't expecting them to get, at 1.8. I thought they would kind of dish out maybe like 3 for someone. So 1.8, I think regardless of who it is, Samsonov is absolutely inconsistent, like super, super inconsistent. And there have been times where he's just getting pulled like every second game or whatever it is. But even at 1.8, it's a goalie that could probably get hot. It's a goalie that could probably take the net from Murray if he does get hot. So you're talking 4.5 plus 1.8, for under 7 or whatever it is for 2 goalies. It's a risk, right? It's definitely a risk. You don't really know what's going to happen. I can't remember who it was on TSN who said this, but they said we could be looking at this in 7 months from now or 8 months from now and saying this was the worst Kyle Dubas move ever in the history since he's taken over, or this could be one of the best moves. It's kind of one of those things, this goalie tandem for Toronto. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's hard to judge that right now. You don't really know how they're going to play. It's unpredictable. Ian Cole in Tampa, $3 million 1 year. I think that's that's definitely fine. They had to let some people go, so to get him at 33 years old, with some experience. I'm fine with that. Curtis Lazar, a guy who's been tossed around the league a little bit. Vancouver, 3 years, $1 million. I'm fine with that as well. Kevin Rooney to Calgary, 2 years for 1.3. I saw a lot of hate on Twitter for that one. It was funny to see. Vincent Trocheck, he's 28 and he got 7 years from the Rangers at 5.625. I have watched so much Rangers in the last, we'll say season and a half, maybe 2 seasons, and I really like Vincent Trocheck. I'm okay with this. He reminds me a little bit of a TJ Oshie, so I'm okay with that number. 7 years is definitely a long time, though. But speaking of a long time, Robert Thomas, 23 years old, 8 years, $8.1 million. I really like Robert Thomas. I really like Robert Thomas. He's one of my favorite players, not just with the Blues, but in the NHL. But I think that is a risque contract. 8 years at $8.1 million. I think he has absolutely deserved $6 million minimum. But 8 for 8, I would have liked to see. If you want to do 6 for 8, fine. If you want, but I like the perfect contract for me for Robert Thomas is probably like 5x6, 5 years at $6 million. See what happens in his late 20s. See how he progresses in those 5 years. But $8 million, we don't even know how far the cap is going to go up in the next couple of years. So that contract could look great in 7 years, or it could look terrible. It's really hard to predict. But right now, I don't like that contract unbiasedly because I really, really like Robert Thomas. I want to see him get paid, but to me, that just seems like quite a bit. I fully suspect for people to disagree. That's totally fine. No, we don't all have to agree. Andrew Kopp to the Detroit Red Wings. Detroit doing work today. 5 years, $5.625 million per year. I really, really like Kopp. He's a player that can play center, left wing, right wing. He's versatile like that. 5 years, 5.6. Maybe a little bit long on term. Maybe like a 3 or a 4 would have been a little bit better. But 5 by 5.625. I'm okay with that. Detroit needs to kind of step up their game. I know they're in the rebuild process, but still, I'm okay with that, actually. That makes Detroit a little bit more interesting to watch for me. Speaking of Detroit, Olli Mata, 1 year, 2.25, a goaltender, a defenseman with experience, left defenseman, that is. For 1 year, I mean, that's a low-risk contract for 2.25, bringing some experience for some of the younger guys. I like that, actually. Good move by Detroit there. Claude Giroux, we knew this one was going to happen. He's 34, 3 years, 6.5 per year. He has a house in Ottawa. It wasn't official, but everyone suspected, right, because of that. So great for the Ottawa Senators. Here's the thing. Of all the teams that have made moves in the past, I don't know, we'll say, since the season ended, or maybe even since the trade deadline, I look at Ottawa and I think, I like this team way more than I did 12 months ago, and I'm going to be watching a lot of Ottawa. I know I'm wearing Detroit, but if you're new, I say this a lot. I switch up my jersey every single video based out of respect for you guys. I talk about all the teams, and I just like to switch it up. I also collect jerseys. But as a Canadiens fan, it's hard to say that I'm excited to watch the Ottawa Senators, but it's the truth. I really am. I can't wait to watch quite a bit of Sens hockey coming up this season. Max Domi to Chicago. 1 year, $3 million, super low risk contract. I do like that for Chicago. Andreas Athanasiou, 1 year, $3 million. Again, low risk. It's only a year. I'm totally fine with these low year or low term contracts, even maybe regardless of cap hit. It's 1 year. It's, if you bite the bullet for 1 year, if it doesn't work out, no big deal. Yaroslav Halak, one of my favorite goaltenders, 37. I can't believe Halak is 37. New York Rangers, 1 year, 1.5, a brilliant signing, I think, for them. I really, really like that. Nick Leddy signed in St. Louis, 4 years for $4 million per year. That's a little bit expensive for me. I would have liked to see 2.5 or 3. I don't know how I feel about Nick Leddy. Vetrano to Anaheim, 3 years, 3.65. I'm okay with that. I think he's a bit of an underrated player, but maybe a little bit inconsistent at times for sure. Nemestikov, 1 year with Tampa, 2.5. Good pickup there. And for Edmonton, Kulak, 4 years, 2.75. I don't love the term there, but for 2.75 for a defenseman with some experience, I'm actually totally fine with that contract. I actually think that's a really good contract, just based on term. So, thumbs up there. Thomas Greiss, St. Louis, 1 year, $1.25 million. Again, low risk contract. I really like those. Alex Stalock, Chicago, 1 year, $750. $750. I mean, that's awesome. I think that's league minimum, actually. And then Tampa, running the show here. We got Cernak, Cirelli, and Sergachev, all signed 8 years, and then different terms, obviously. Cernak is 5.2, Cirelli is 6.25, and Sergachev is 8.5. Here's the thing. All three of those players are, I would say maybe at least Sergachev, okay? They've got the bargaining chip of, listen, I'm an important player. I helped you win a cup. And the other guys did as well. But I'm just saying, like, from one person's perspective, I helped win you a cup. Then I helped win you another cup. And then I helped get you back to the finals, okay? I deserve a little bit of payment. 8.5, okay? I'm only, how old is he? 20. I'm only 25, all right? You got me for the next 8 years of my life, the next 8 seasons. 8.5 is pretty reasonable. What do you say? I think Tampa has to say, yeah, okay. I think, they just got to do it. So it is what it is. Brendan Lemieux re-signs with the LA Kings, 1 year, 1.35. Definitely okay with that contract. Not a fan of the player. Darcy Kemper. Wow, Washington Capitals, 5 years, 5.25. Saw a lot of criticism on this one. I think it's an okay contract. He just won a Stanley Cup. He played very well. I saw people saying that he was carried. I don't think that was the case, to be honest, but I'm okay with the contract. But, argue it in the comments if you'd like. Oh, and then the one that broke my heart, Artturi Lehkonen. Man, 5 years with the Colorado Avalanche, $4.5 million per year. I think that's a total steal. I mean, look what he did in the playoffs. An absolute depth player. One of the best depth players in the NHL, proven in the last 2 years. It broke my heart because I really wanted him to come back to my Montreal Canadiens. I thought maybe his heart was still with the Canadiens, but obviously it's not, and I don't blame him. Maybe because he just won a cup with the team, so why not stay, right? Louis Domingue signed for 2 years with the Rangers for $775,000 per year. Under $1 million for a backup or even a third-string backup. Yeah, sign me up. Yeah, he's got some experience, so that's okay with me. And then this one really threw me for a loop. Gabranson, 4 years for $4 million. I just don't see the value there at all. That's a $2 million defenseman, I think, at the most for me. I'm not a fan of him as a player, so I could get some flack for that, but it's just not for me. Not for me. I don't like that one. Josh Manson with Colorado, 4 years, 4.5. I'm definitely okay with that. That seems pretty reasonable. Ben Sherratt, wow, 4 years, 4.75 to Detroit. I think that number is actually okay for Sherratt. It took a first to get him from, I think, Florida it was. And for a defenseman, you usually have to pay a little bit more. So Detroit really kind of they're starting to step up a little bit here, specifically today. So it's nice to see that. Andrei Burakovsky, 5 years, $5.5 million. Maybe just like a hair expensive. I would like to see a flat 5 there. But I'm okay with that. Seattle, they've got the money to play with. David Rittich goes to Winnipeg, $900,000. We'll see how that works, but low term, so I'm fine. Kubalik goes to Detroit, 2 years, 2.5. That's maybe a good experiment. See what happens there. I'm okay with that. And then David Perron, 2 years at 4.75. Hey, listen, that's a guy with experience. Not only experience, but like special teams experience. Great on the power play, right? So I think bringing him into a team, help guide. They've got a special teams coach. They've got a power play coach. They've got a penalty kill coach, whatever. But he has on-ice experience. He can coach players and really lead from I guess an offensive perspective on the power play. I think just that alone is going to be great for Detroit. 2 years, not too long at 4.75. I think that is like literally the perfect contract for Detroit. I really like that fit actually there. All right, what else have we got here? Nicolas Deslauriers is going to the Philadelphia Flyers. 4 years at 1.75. I actually love this contract. 4 years seems a little bit long, but for 1.75, Philadelphia is always known as being a gritty, hey, see what I did there, team, and being a tough team. Nicolas Deslauriers is the definitional player of a Philadelphia Flyer, and he's never been there before until now. So I think the fit is nice. I think him as a player is underrated. He brings toughness, and he brings a little bit of defensive security as far as like, listen, if you're going to run the goalie, you're going to pay for it. And if I'm on the ice and I'm in our defensive zone when that happens, you're getting tuned up. So I like this move by Philadelphia, actually, and I really like Nicolas Deslauriers. And I think that is all that I wanted to talk about. I guess there was a bit of a trade. Brent Burns got traded. Let me see the details on this before I speak too much. Oh, yeah, actually, there are some other trades here. Let me go through these. So, yeah, Pavel Zacha and Eric Haula went they cross paths. Haula went to the Devils, and Zacha went to the Boston Bruins. Why do the players that I like in the NHL always go to my arch rival team of the Boston Bruins? There are more individual players on Boston that I like than the Montreal Canadiens, my damn favorite team. I love Pavel Zacha. I've got him on a jersey in the closet, hand stitched. He's one of my favorite players in the NHL. You gotta go to the Bruins? Come on. Like, I like the trade. I think it works for both teams. I actually like Howlett as well. I think he fits in with the Devils. So I think that's that's a win on both sides, to be completely honest. What else we got here? Oh yeah, so the Brent Burns trade. So Burns goes to the Carolina Hurricanes. It is going to be so strange to see him in black and red. Just, it's going to take a while to get used to that, because he played in Minnesota where he wore green, and then he played in San Jose where he wore green. Did he play anywhere else? He didn't. I think it was just Minnesota and San Jose, wasn't it? Yeah, it's just Minnesota and San Jose. He's only ever worn green. We've never seen Brent Burns wear red, other than with Team Canada, maybe. But yeah, in the NHL, Brent Burns is going to be wearing red and black next year. Just so strange. But San Jose did retain some salary. I believe they retained just over 30%. Let me see if it says. Yeah, 34%, $2.72 million. So his cap hit is 5.28. Brent Burns has declined substantially in the last 2 years. So I'm not exactly sure how well this is going to work out for the Carolina Hurricanes. They give up two people that I don't think I've ever heard of. So, I mean, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. I like the Hurricanes. Sharks are my second favorite team. I'm thrilled they get rid of Brent Burns. They get, Jones is gone. Burns is gone. Who knows what happens with San Jose? They're not a Stanley Cup winning team for sure in the next couple of years, but I'm excited still for their future. So that kind of wraps up the video so far. Things are still ongoing, and I'll kind of keep an eye on them. But tomorrow I would like to do a ranking video, actually, a big ranking video, okay? A big one in the NHL. So I'm hoping you can tune in. If you're new, please consider hitting the subscribe button. If you did enjoy this video, hit the like button. And the most important thing is to comment down below and let me know what you thought of today. Were you happy with your team's moves? Did your team not do anything? Like my Canadians, they signed, Slavkovsky, but that was expected, right? That wasn't a regular free agent signing. If your team did nothing, or were you disappointed? If they did a bunch of stuff, were you disappointed? We'd love to hear from you. Tell me the team that you cheer for. Tell me what you thought of their progress today. And I hope you're having a good day. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Adios.